8:30, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for attending district leadership training this morning. Everyone on this meeting is very likely attending all 3 trainings today. So I just want to give you an overview of what the day is going to look like. First, you're going to have district leadership training. We will have breaks just about every hour for 5 minutes, and we will wrap up around 12 to 12:15 and give you until 12:45 to grab something to eat if you need to. At that point, we will start at 12:45. We will start grants management Q&A, and then move immediately into pre-pets at 1:45. We will wrap up by 2:45 this afternoon. And I plan to keep us on schedule. So if speakers go over, you will hear me jump in and rudely interrupt because we want to respect everybody's time. I want to thank our AGs who have completed their Rotary Learning Center training modules. I think almost all of you have done that at this point, and so thank you very much. If you have not had a chance to complete those, please do so as soon as possible so that you will have all the information that we are not covering today. Just some housekeeping things. Please keep yourself on mute if you are not presenting. And we do have several moderators in this event who will mute you if needed. If you have a question, questions are encouraged. If you have them, go ahead and put them in the chat. And as we have time, we will answer them. There will be some sections where there isn't time for questions. And in those cases, I will work on getting those answers to you. But Debbie Scott is going to be fielding the chat for questions. She would like you to put them in all caps so they're easy to find in the chat. And then she will ask the presenters whenever there's time. Other than that, I hope you enjoy today's training. Again, thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over to DGE Chris Justice.
All right. Good morning, everybody. All right, today we will be enjoying each other's company in what I know everyone wants to do, and that is yet another Zoom meeting. So I know you guys are so excited. I do want to thank you all for attending today. And before we move any further, I'd like to ask Charles Allen to lead us all in a moment of prayer.
Would you bow with me as we pray, please? Our Father, we thank you for the opportunity to join in this online virtual training seminar that allows us to connect and prepare for service to all the Rotarians and clubs in District 7690. We thank you for the guidance that you've given District Governor-elect Chris, District Governor nominee Debbie, and District Governor nominee designate Van as they chart the course for 2021 and 22 and in the years to come. We thank you for the dedicated team of Rotarians that have spent multiple hours planning this training event. We thank you for bringing this team of district leaders together to serve their collective Rotary knowledge, to share their collective Rotary knowledge and passion for Rotary. Allow us to embrace this knowledge and passion as we work together to make our district a model of how we serve to change lives. May we take this opportunity and time together to learn and apply that knowledge to improve ourselves and our service above self to others. Guide us today as we prepare to use Rotary as an opportunity to serve, to change lives. Our Father, we ask this prayer in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, and I'd like everybody to stand. I think I have a flag that I'm going to pull up here in a second, so find that for us.
If you don't, I do.
Oh, Debbie, you are awesome. Let's do that then. If everyone will rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for that, Debbie.
Most welcome.
All right, so I want to make a couple of special introductions this morning. First of all, I want to introduce and thank the person who has worked really tirelessly to prepare this event for you all. and who works countless hours to make sure we all know what the heck we are doing. And that's Karen Pollard, our district trainer. Thank you, thank you. We are also joined by Kim Dane, who works on the district training team. I'd also like to introduce Debbie Scott, who will be your district governor in 22-23, and Van Langford, who will be serving in 23-24. Debbie has also played a critical role in training and a number of other things that benefit the district that you're going to hear a little bit more about later. I know I saw past District Governor Dave McCoy roaming out there somewhere. And I don't have my gallery up right now, so if I'm missing anybody, apologies. But I'd also like to introduce past District Governor Charles Allen, who is also your district membership chair. He will be introducing his membership team and talking about membership a little bit later. We are also going to be hearing from past District Governor Claudia Kennedy, who is your district foundation chair. And we'll be hearing from some on her foundation team and a little bit more about the foundation later. But ultimately, Assistant Governors, today is about you. We hope to provide you with a sense of our direction and to provide you with the tools you need to help all of us succeed as a district. Our first guest today really needs no introduction. You all know him well. He is our 2021 District Governor, Tommy Rosser. It feels like we are always getting ready for next year, but we still have more than a third of this year, and there is still a lot more we can do. So to talk about that, here's our district governor. Tommy?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a wonderful experience. I will have to say that I cannot believe that this year is coming to an end pretty soon. So it goes by fast, but as most of you know, it started 3 years ago. But I do want to just say how appropriate was our theme this year, Rotary Opens Opportunities, the opportunity we had to create a new Rotary this year. And with virtual, with using technology, I think the whole world opened up, and I am so proud. I am so proud of our district in the way that we have adapted to this and that we have come into the new Rotary. I just want to thank every one of you and everyone in your clubs for this, adapting to the new Rotary we've had this year. What a great job. Everybody has done a wonderful job. And I think we've seen right now the future. I think the future really is going to be virtual or hybrid meetings. And I'm so glad that a lot of the clubs are going back to hybrid meetings. And, just to give you a quick update, but also I want to thank each and every one of you stepping up for the leadership this year. You know, you're going into a year, and Chris has got a great theme this year, Serve to Change Lives. That's a great theme. And Chris, I think I got a tie like yours that I bought at a store years ago. So I got to look it up and see if I got one like that. But anyhow, just thank you for stepping up and being leaders. This is a role that you will enjoy. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. It's a good ride. You'll have a great time. So just kind of let you know what's going on in our district this year. Of course, we've had to limit a lot of activities we've had this year. Our student exchanges have been put on hold. A lot of our global grants have been put on hold because of COVID. But I really feel like the light is at the end of the tunnel on COVID, because our numbers are going down now. People are getting the vaccine, and we're making some progress there. But we do have a lot of good things happening. Next weekend, Saturday, we have our four-way speech contest. That will be recorded, and people will be able to watch it later. We're having to do it with 10 people in a room, so it's a little bit different than what we normally would do. Also, now coming up after that, on April 16th through the 18th, we've got the district conference, and we are going to have fun. And it will happen. So registration, I hope, if I can get everything together with Phil and Jim, we're going to open it up this week. Hopefully Friday. If not tomorrow, it will be Monday. So you need to register soon on that if you're planning on going. It's a great time up in Asheville. We probably will have to limit the number because of North Carolina regulations, but it will be a great time. We'll have a wonderful time at the Grove Park. If you've never been, it's a beautiful place to be and a lot of activities. Some of you might want to look into the fly fishing that we've got excursion we got offered, and zip line. I mean, I know Chris will probably do the zip line, so we'll see what happens on that. So, but anyhow, just thank you so much for a wonderful year. I will also tell you that May 22nd, we did not get to have our foundation dinner or a Paul Harris Society in November as we normally do. Some of you have been asking about the requirement, the mandatory, the 5 points for having somebody at the foundation banquet. I'm going to waive that and give every club that points because we had no control over that. But I'm still going to ask you to make plans to come May 22nd and attend the Paul Harris Society meeting, which will be at 4 o'clock. And then after that, we'll have a break, and then we'll have the foundation dinner on that night, Saturday. And it'll be at the Sheraton in Greensboro there. So everybody, please make plans for that. I know that each and every one of you are excited about your year. I know you'll do a great job. I know that you've got great leaders coming in to help you. So it'll be a great year for you. So always remember, you've got somebody behind you. You've got somebody that will help you. And it's a time for you to learn, but also a time to take charge and to be assertive and be that leader that everybody needs right now. We need leaders. If it hadn't been for the leaders of this district right now, the leaders this district like this year, I don't know how we would have pulled through this year. Everybody stepped up, and I'm so proud of that. I mean, technology has changed so much, but we've had people that come along with technology changes, and just thank you so much. Take your time, enjoy your year, but also learn something. And remember, we're here to serve people. We're here to serve our communities. We're here for Rotary, and we are a family. And we are always there to help you any way that we possibly can. So thank you for letting me have a few comments, Chris. I appreciate it. And I look forward to your year and supporting you. And I thank everybody for the support this year. And as Chris said, we still got a ways to go this year. I'm asking everybody, let's push for membership, and we need donations to the foundation. We really need those. Membership, our district is down as of today, minus 35 members. So I'm asking if you got any members in any clubs, get them in the system. Let's get them in there and get them counted. I think the best thing that we could do for our year right now is to have a positive membership for the end of the year. That would be that, and also reach our goal on the foundation. We got to push that, and we're going to have a big push here at the end of the year for the foundation and for membership. So let's all work together. Thank you for what you're doing. Enjoy your day, and I know it's exciting. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Tommy, and thank you for your leadership this year. As Tommy alluded to earlier, the lead up to serving as district governor is a several-year process. You know, he put in 2.5 years of work before he became district governor, and then, of course, doing the year as district governor. And I can assure you that during that lead up, no one talked about COVID or talked about Zoom meetings or any of the other stuff that Tommy's had to navigate this year. And I know, you know, a lot of times he's probably felt like he's been, you know, just flying by the seat of his pants, but it hasn't looked like that to the rest of us. So thank you for your leadership on Tommy. And, you know, it's been incredibly challenging. I know you haven't gotten to do a lot of the stuff that you wanted to do, but, you know, you've done a great job, and we appreciate it. All right, guys. So in going into my program, I want to tell you what my plan was last night. So I had pretty much developed all the content for today, and, you know, had just about finalized the PowerPoint, you know, all the things that you do. And I was set to walk in the door and, you know, have a little bit of dinner, and then start working on rehearsing and getting my timing down for today. So when I got in, of course, walked back to change clothes, and I noticed that the bathtub that I had filled up before I left for work in anticipation of losing power today was only half full rather than being all the way full. So first thing that popped in my head was, oh crap, where did all that water go? So I ran down to the basement and I found all the water. It was in fact in the basement. My preparation time last night was spent doing disaster mitigation in the basement. But so the timing may be a little off today. But hopefully that will be to your advantage. And my goal, as always is the goal, is to give you perhaps a little bit of a longer break than we would have had otherwise if I'd gotten a full 40 minutes of content. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I want to start out today by reading you all something. The author is a girl that none of you have probably ever heard of. Her name is Trinity Smith. And she is a student at Page High School here in Greensboro. Trinity is an applicant for the inaugural 4-year Gate City Rotary Scholarship. And on the application, Trinity was asked several questions, one of which was if there were any special circumstances that would make it difficult for her to pay for school. And here's part of what she said. My father is significantly out of the picture and is unemployed. He is required to pay child support, but only about $700 a year. And he only pays some of it when it is court mandated, and is also attempting to support his other 2 kids with his girlfriend, who is also unemployed. Neither of them file taxes. My biological father is both an alcoholic and a drug addict. So the little money he does receive is spent on his vices. Because both of my household adults, my mother and stepfather, have jobs, FAFSA, which is the documentation you have to fill out for student aid, offers no aid to help me pay for college. We live paycheck to paycheck every single week, and my family has no money in savings. My mother and I were also unable to work from March to June because of COVID-19, which forced us to live just off the money that my stepfather was able to make. Until recently, my family was also paying 2 mortgages. Many scholarships don't cater towards lower middle class families, so I am limited in the number of scholarships I can receive. And so far, that is 0. Students who fit into what is deemed as lower class are often given financial aid through their schools and through FAFSA. And those who fit into upper class can afford it. However, I am in the lower middle class, and I most definitely cannot afford to go to college on my own. The application goes on to ask what Rotary-specific programs she finds important. And I want to read what she said. The Gate City Rotary Club has many programs and services around Greensboro, but one of the most significant is their contribution to Camp Carefree. I have some friends that have volunteered with Camp Carefree, which is a free week-long summer camp that caters towards kids who have chronic illnesses, and they absolutely love the program. Working at a daycare and summer camp myself, I understand how much joy this camp brings to kids, and it just brightens their days and makes memories that they will carry with them throughout the rest of their lives. Some of my favorite memories are when I was at summer camp, so I know just how significant those memories are. My daycare has also worked with Camp Carefree to raise money and donations to help fund their summer experiences. And every summer, I lead our community service club at Seawells, and we gather hundreds of dollars to send to Camp Carefree to show our support to the community. It is so wonderful to be able to provide an almost surreal and magical experience for kids who are unique and stand out amongst their peers. And it is free, relieving their families of the financial burden. The Gate City Rotary Club is doing a wonderful thing by helping out Camp Carefree, and it seems like our entire community is rooting for its success. Trinity has a 4.5 grade point average and a decent SAT score. And Trinity is already all too aware of her path and probable outcome without any help. She also has a giving heart. I want to walk you guys really quickly with how Trinity came to be an applicant for this scholarship. About 12 years ago, a Rotarian named Alex Neely donated a sum of money earmarked for a scholarship to be created on behalf of Gate City Rotary. The money sat around for a couple of years and was eventually transferred into an income-producing endowment. Seeing the potential, some of Gate City's leadership worked to amend the club's bylaws and codify how much of the annual fundraiser proceeds would be required to go towards the annual endowment, with the goal of raising $250,000. You see, the income from $250,000, coupled with regular contributions to the endowment through additional fundraising, is enough to fund a $10,000 a year scholarship. Every leadership team from that point forward abided by the rules, and in 2020, Gate City Rotary hit the $250,000 mark. Rather than split the money up into a number of small scholarships, the scholarship committee established rules to award a deserving kid $10,000 a year for their entire 4-year journey. Children of Rotarians are not eligible. In fact, the ideal candidate is a kid who shows a lot of potential and has a giving heart. Gate City is not looking for the perfect SAT score or an amazingly high GPA. They are looking for kids who already have, they aren't looking for kids who already have a ton of advantages. They want the diamond in the rough. The scholarship has been a guiding light for Gate City for over a decade. It motivates and drives the club. It's, as Shaker Mehta pointed out and made the Rotary theme, is serving to change lives. And in a few short months, Gate City Rotary will hand over the first check that will significantly change the life of a young person. While we were working to save, we supported numerous projects along the way, to include Camp Carefree. It warmed my heart to read Trinity's answer to that question, because not only did she recognize our role in helping Camp Carefree, she also helped Camp Carefree. She's already begun serving to change lives. I'm going to share screen, and I don't think Debbie has this one queued up for me, so hopefully it will work out. All right, so we're going to find PowerPoint and share that. All right, you guys got it? Good, okay.
Hey, Chris, real quick. There's quite a few PEs, other people that I'm sure are registered for grants management. This is the district leadership training. You guys can sit in if you want to. I just don't want you to wane through the day because this is the longest session of the day. Again, please feel free to stay, but grants management starts at 12:45 and it's the same link. Thanks.
All right, Debbie, thank you. I did see a lot of additional faces in the crowd, which is fine. I'm glad to have them, but you're right, it's going to be a long day. Okay, so, wow, that didn't go well. Okay, so let's talk about back to basics for a second. Rotary International does not announce its theme until International Assembly, which just took place. And as Tommy and I have both explained, the planning process is a multi-year process leading up to your year as district governor. So in going through that process, I really wanted to have a guiding principle and really didn't have the advantage of knowing what our theme was until a couple of weeks ago. And so in thinking about the needs of the district, the message that I wanted to put forward is that we need to get back to basics. I got a little bit of flack from our public image director, Lisa Hazlitt, because she hated the idea of having back in a theme. And I really got her point and her sentiment, because it's, you know, when you read it, back to basics, we're always taught to be forward thinkers. And it did seem, you know, that, okay, well, that maybe backwards isn't the direction we want to take. That being said, the more I thought about it, the more convinced I became that there are some basic ideals and some basic principles that perhaps we as Rotarians and Rotary in general has gotten away from. Back to basics isn't about going backwards. It's about recognizing that fundamentals are important and we need to focus on those fundamentals. Sometimes I jokingly say that Rotary talks out of both sides of its mouth. And I don't say that to be ugly. I just think that Rotary, in some aspects, has gotten away from itself. I think that's true of clubs at times. I think it's true of the district at times. And it's true of Rotary International. High levels of leadership always say that clubs are autonomous and they are the most important part of Rotary. Yet we consistently see policies and directives that seem top heavy. Back to basics is not about moving backwards. It's about moving forward, but working on, and in some cases, restoring the fundamentals that made this organization great to begin with. And I want to talk to you a few minutes about specifics. All right, so many of you assistant governors were on Zoom that we did several weeks ago, where we talked about our area restructuring rather, and the concept of areas of focus. So what I'm showing you now is, it's going to be in two parts, but this clearly illustrates what we mean by that. We have expanded the number of areas to 12. It was 11 and we changed it to 12. We also created a concept called super areas, which consist of 3 areas. And in each super area, there will be an assistant governor that's assigned as a first-year assistant governor. There will be a second year and a third year. Each assignment has a specific focus. First-year assistant governors will focus on membership and will work closely with our membership chair. In this coming year, that again is Charles Allen. So the 4 of you will work closely with Charles on all things membership. Second-year assistant governors will work on foundation with our district foundation chair, Claudia Kennedy. Third-year assistant governors will work closely with myself and really be there to help with any special projects that we may have as a district. And I've got a couple of things that I will talk to you guys about individually. And you will also be there to serve in a mentorship role for the first year and second year assistant governors. Each of you will be responsible for your own areas. That's not changing. You will also be responsible for the other areas in your super areas for your specific focus. So in other words, with super area A, Mark Brandon is our first year assistant governor. He will be all things membership for Area 1, Area 2, and Area 4. He will serve his clubs in the traditional sense for Area 1. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the second the second part of the chart. If I had put it all on one screen, it would have been microscopic, so I split it up for you guys. We do have a change coming in Area 5. It looks like Lori Haddock is not going to be able to continue on as assistant governor, so we will be looking to fill that spot, and we will do you know, whatever juggling around we need to do there. But we have plenty of people that are able to step in there. The next thing I want to talk about is needs. All members have one or more of the following needs. Members have the need to serve, the need to fellowship, and the need to network. These needs don't always exist together, but every member has at least one of these needs at all times. In some conversations about membership, there was also the point brought up that you know, the need to build leadership skills, or you know, the ability to lead is also you know, one of the bullet points that people consider in joining Rotary. That being said, not everyone that joins Rotary wants to lead, but everyone that joins Rotary wants to serve, engage in fellowship, and network. They may not want it all at one time, but at some point they are going to want those needs filled. And it's my belief that clubs are not necessarily addressing all of these needs. So one of the initiatives that we will be asking you to help us get support with is to incentivize clubs to address each need at least once a quarter. In other words, we want clubs to have a service project a quarter. It doesn't have to be a massive service project, but we want to make sure that for their members that want to serve, they have an outlet at least once a quarter. We want there to be a fellowship event once a quarter. And we want there to be a networking event at least once a quarter. Where you guys come into play with that is in your monthly meetings with your clubs. Just make sure that you are reminding them of this, remind them it's in the District Achievement Awards, and just ensure that they are addressing all three needs at least once a quarter. Another thing that we're doing is getting an updated website. So I know a lot of you have asked for this. A lot of members have asked for it, and that is going to happen in the near future. We're looking at, I think at this point, it looks like a July 1st launch. I wanted to give you guys a little sneak preview, and I also wanted to tell you that the website is going to be mobile friendly. It's going to be easier to update. It's going to be accessible to multiple content managers, which is something we've needed for a long time. And I'm going to give you guys a real quick sneak peek. So the first page we're going to see, that is going to be the homepage, or at least the top third of the homepage. And the service above self graphic you see there will be a scrolling graphic, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. It goes down to our major categories and then finishes up with more graphics, you know, showing what we do as a district. And if we have time, I may be able to share the screen with the actual page and kind of show you around. It's really cool what they're doing with that. All right, the next thing that I wanted to talk about are the district training and event dates. What we have really attempted to do for the next year is to consolidate as many trainings as we can. The purpose of that is really to try to be as respectful of all of your time as we can, and to avoid multiple days of training if we can accomplish the same thing with less days. You're going to see some TBA dates. A lot of these are at least penciled in at this point, and I will update you on the dates as soon as we know for sure. For example, I think the golf tournament actually has a date. It is going to be at Grandover. But again, I will get you guys updated calendars, and it will be pretty much complete when the district manual comes out just prior to PETS. Next thing I want to address is youth programming. Quality youth programming is part of our DNA in this district. If you look around at what the clubs are interested in doing, you look around at what the district has historically been interested in doing, it is heavily focused on youth, and we want to continue that. We have had the Rotary Youth Leadership Program. As many of you guys know, that has been on a couple of year hiatus at this point. That program is important, and we want to bring it back. We are bringing it back under the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards framework, which is the traditional RI framework. It will go from being the 7-day program to the traditional 4-day model. And we hope to have it return in July of 2021 or June of 2022. Those are obviously very far apart. The challenge right now, as is the challenge with just about everything, is dealing with COVID. Most of the venues that would be attractive to hosting this event are colleges. And in one case, we've explored looking at a camp. Colleges and other venues are extremely hesitant to book for this summer with the uncertainty of COVID. I think when we began the planning process to bring RILA back, we were all very optimistic that things would be turned around by spring. Given the pace of the vaccine rollout, it doesn't look like that is going to be a feasible deadline. We are looking at making a call by mid-March, but regardless, the event will happen next Rotary year, whether that be in July, which I would put at a fairly low percentage chance, or in June of 2022. So we will be asking clubs, and we are asking you guys to reiterate for us that we need clubs to budget for this. We do expect the cost to be a little less than it has been. I think traditionally it's been right at $750 a student, but that is going to go down. We don't have an exact amount, but we are forecasting that the amount will be somewhere within the $500 range. I think, Debbie, if you can give me a nod on that, that's what we're looking at. So we want to bring this program back. We know it's important to clubs, and we want to keep it on their radar. So very, very important. And I will be reiterating this at the pre-PETS and the, well, not at pre-PETS, Cookie's doing that, but at PETS training, when we talk directly to the president-elects. The next thing I want to talk about is Triple Crown. So the Triple Crown program has been an amazing success. And unfortunately, for a lot of clubs, it's kind of fallen off the radar. There are a handful of clubs that still take great pride in the Triple Crown achievement. Yeah, Jeff, but there are many clubs that just don't focus on it anymore. And I can use my club as a prime example of that. We were, Triple Crown was always something we wanted to achieve, but it really isn't even in the vernacular anymore. When we say reboot, that means a couple of things. Number one, it means refocusing and advertising this to the clubs. Not only do we want clubs to focus on the district achievement awards, which are important, but we also want clubs to focus on the Triple Crown piece. The piece that we are changing is the third bullet that you see. We're going to continue requiring 100% Paul Harris Fellows, also Paul Harris Sustaining. But rather than the benefactor, what we are going to ask is, the bequest, we're going to ask that clubs be 100% Polio Plus, which in our district is defined as $100 per year per member. And that is, we did make this one per capita. So whatever the club's membership number is, we're looking for at least $100 times that amount of people in order to achieve that prong of Triple Crown. There will be specific metrics that are thoroughly outlined in the manual that the presidents will receive and you guys will receive, whenever it's ready to be published. In essence, the metrics are going to spell out what dates you have between what date and what date to achieve the status. It's going to outline how you measure your membership numbers and who has to actually hit these metrics. Because one of the issues with Triple Crown in the past is, okay, if we inducted a new member, how long do we have to get the person their Paul Harris Fellowship? How long do we have to get them signed up to be sustaining? When did they have to, sign the paperwork to say they're given $1,000 in their will? So it was complicated for clubs to make sure that they were in compliance. We're going to make that a little bit easier by providing a safe harbor period for new members. And again, that is going to be spelled out in the manual. The other thing that we want to do is to give clubs a tangible reward. So if you achieve Triple Crown in your particular year, you will get a badge for your banner that will be displayed at district conference. You will also get a badge for your banner that you are authorized to display at your club meetings the following year. So what we're looking for is clubs to achieve this metric in 21-22, and by district conference at the awards ceremony, we want to be handing out as many badges as we can that the clubs can proudly display and refer to themselves as Triple Crown clubs for the entirety of the following Rotary year. And that cycle will repeat. You can lose your Triple Crown status, and it's not a punitive thing, but we would ask clubs that if they didn't achieve Triple Crown in the previous year, they simply not display their badge the following year. But we want there to be a tangible element to that piece. Okay, so this is probably not going to be the logo, and I will say that because Christy has been working, our district executive secretary has been working on trying to get us a new graphic. I personally love this graphic and wish we could use it, but unfortunately there are some branding rules that may prevent us from using the subdued Rotary emblem in the background. So Christy is working on that, and with any luck, before we go to press on the manual, we will have new branding, to be able to present to the clubs. All right, so our next segment is potpourri. This is just a couple of extra bullet points that I wanted to bring up, and these are sort of guiding principles that we want to follow for the next year. We don't want any committees of one. Okay, that has been a sort of epidemic at the club level and at our district level. And what do I mean by that? So if someone at the club level has been whatever position you want to call it, whether it's sergeant at arms or the club secretary or whatever, first of all, we don't want that to be a lifetime appointment. And we don't want them to be alone. So at committee levels, at every level of Rotary that we can affect, we do not want anyone to be a one-man, one-woman band. We want there to be at least 2, if not 3 or more persons working on those committees. We are asking clubs to staff their boards with at least 30% new blood. And again, anytime you're establishing a policy, you have to have action steps and clear metrics. And it's one thing to say, clubs, you need to get some new people involved. But it's quite another to say, clubs specifically, we want you guys to have 30% new blood. And that's what we're asking for. And that is heavily incentivized in the District Achievement Awards. We are looking to support Rotary Means Business. Rotary Means Business is sort of an entity within an entity. And this is really going to focus us on the networking piece, which again, Rotary started as a networking group, and then service sort of evolved from it. Then it became almost taboo to even talk about networking in the context of Rotary. And now the pendulum is starting to swing back a bit, but we want to help that along, because as we've established and talked about, networking is one of the 3 reasons people join a civic organization. We can't make it a taboo subject. And in fact, we need to do what we can do to incentivize clubs and Rotarians to be able to network effectively. We are going to provide clubs with training and incentives to take advantage of district and global grants. This is something that that Tommy and Claudia and her team have been working extremely hard on. And it's great because, as I've experienced in my club, as I've seen at the district level, the base of knowledge in terms of the ability to write district grants and or global grants and participate in those things is too insulated. There are far too few people that know how to do this process, know how to start it, know how to manage it. And we've got to change that, because we have so many amazing things. And what we know is that when Rotarians participate in these things, it motivates them. It motivates them to bring in new members, and it motivates them to stay in Rotary. We're also working to update the bylaws, or as is technically referred to, our manual of procedures. This is a many months long project. Our current manual of procedures has been in place for several years, and it really does not mirror what Rotary International recommends. So we have a group that is working on that. And I fully intend, once we have a working draft, to solicit the advice and opinions of you all as assistant governors to help us along with that process, and to be on hand to get that out to the clubs that you guys are in charge of, and to help answer any questions along the way. All right, your role as assistant governor. Guys, fundamentally, you have been through the modules, you know the technicalities at this point. I want you to know your clubs so you can support your clubs. That's really hard to do if you don't get boots on the ground and go visit them. So as assistant governors, don't just stay at your home club. Get out and go visit these other clubs. Go to their events, be visible. Learn and support your area of focus. Guys, every year, and you know, I'm probably the best evidence of this. Every year, there are not a ton of candidates for district governor. There aren't. I mean, it's 2, maybe 3. You know, if we're lucky, we get 4. We have got so much talent in this district. We need more people to, number one, want to do this. And even if you don't want to do it, feel called to do it. The primary purpose of the areas of focus, that being membership and foundation in your first and second years, is to give you guys the knowledge base that you need to be able to serve as district governor one day. That's the goal. I would love nothing more than for all 4 of our AG3s to put their name in the hat to become district governor. That's the purpose of this. And by the time you finish working with Charles for a year and you finish working with Claudia for a year, you're going to know a lot about Rotary. You're going to have a ton of knowledge and ability. We know you already have passion, and you're going to be extremely useful to the district. I want you to personally, with me, share your highs and lows. If something great is happening at a club or with your experience, share it. If you experience something that's less than ideal, I want to hear about that too. I don't want you guys to just think that, you know, it's a once a month meeting and us never have any other dialogue. We've got a year together, and I want us to make the most of it. Of course, we are going to ask that you meet with your clubs and myself at least once a month. I will do the best I can to make those meeting times convenient for everyone. I will at some point send out, and it's not relevant right now, but closer you know, to the year, I will send out a survey request to, you know, figure out what the times are that work best for everybody. And I can assure you that when we do have meetings, that I will be respectful of your time. And I am running out of time. So, man, I thought this was going to go slower than it did, or faster than it did. Anyway, district conference. All right, so this is going to be an easy one, guys. We're going to rinse and repeat what we tried to do in Randy's year. The 2020 district conference was supposed to happen at the beach. The beach is always a successful conference. We're going back, so stay tuned for details on that. I'm not sure if Josh is on the call or not, but Josh Huffman is going to be our conference chair. So you will all be hearing quite a bit from him. And that is going to be April 29th through May 1st in 2022. All right, so some cool stuff. We normally would hand out your necktie or scarf and your pins at this meeting, but we're not in person. So I will be getting this stuff out to you guys. That's the tie. You got the scarf to the left. You got the tie. This is the pin you're going to be getting. And this is the banner that your clubs are going to be getting. All right, so Shaker Maida's, his theme is everyone bring one. That is his membership team. Charles is going to talk more about that, but he wants really for the goal of every Rotarian is everyone bring one. I love this quote from Shaker. Serving others changes lives, including our own. And that is so, so true. I know I'm running the risk of running a couple of seconds over, but real quick, the graphic you have in front of you is from an awesome sports movie. It's Field of Dreams. And most of you guys are familiar with the most famous quote from that movie, which is, if you build it, he will come. That's actually not my favorite quote in the movie. My favorite quote is, we just don't recognize life's most significant moments while they're happening. I started today by telling you about a girl named Trinity Smith. 9 years ago, when I fought to get our bylaws changed to make us save more money every year, something significant was happening. I didn't know how significant. When I sold raffle tickets that ultimately turned into a check to Camp Carefree, I didn't know how significant. To the outside observer, the day we hand over the scholarship check to whoever the recipient will be is going to look significant. But without all of those smaller acts of service performed by so many over the last 12 years, none of that happens. I can't wait to serve to change lives with you guys. I apologize. I promised you a longer break. You're not going to get one. Karen?
All right, you are not going to get a longer break, but you are going to get the 5 minutes that we promised. So take 5 minutes. I want to remind anyone who's on the call who is not an area governor or in line to be an area governor in Debbie's year, or a member of the district leadership team, that you are not required to stay on this meeting. You are welcome to, but you can also log off and log back in on the same link at 12:45 when we will begin grants management. So we'll see you back here, and I will introduce Charles right at 9:30. All right, folks, it is 9:30 and we're going to get started again. Charles, I will hand it over to you. Please begin when you're ready.
Good morning, Rotarians, district leaders, and area governors. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend the district leadership training event today. As we consider the 2021-2022 Rotary theme, Serve to Change Lives, I want you to think with me how we can engage our current members, consider utilizing different strategies to retain and attract members, and to explore innovative club and membership options. 3 members of our district membership team will be sharing with you today our membership focus for 2021-22 and ideas for how we can achieve membership growth. As district membership chair for our district, I want to share with you a membership overview with a focus on 3 areas. First, on focusing on members, create a multiple year club opportunity growth plan, embrace innovative club opportunities. Lisa Hazlitt will be sharing with you as a member of the district membership team, what we call the membership battle cry for 2021-22, engage, retain, and attract, with a focus on 5 areas. Engage your membership chairs, incentivize club leadership, intentional membership contact, members, recruiting members, and a multi-year membership growth plan. Past District Governor John Spillman, the District Innovative Club advocate, will present the why we should consider innovative club innovative clubs and membership options, as he challenges us to meet people where they are, not where we want them to be. Our Rotary theme this year and our thought is to grow Rotary. Our President-elect Shaker and I was privileged to meet him in India when I went to India in 2011 for a National Immunization Day, and what a dynamic individual he is. His theme this year is a change maker governor class to the governors, is to grow Rotary with a focus on the RI theme, Serve to Change Lives. His goal is to grow Rotary from 1.2 million members to 1.3 million members by July 1 of 22, using a very simple concept. Each one, bring one. Another way to think about this is as we grow more, we do more. That is, if we grow Rotary, we can do more. We can support the foundation. We can do the things that we want to do in the future. I want to share with you today 3 areas that I think in our membership focus for 2021. Number 1 is to promote engagement, retention, and attraction by focusing on our members. As we consider our focus, think about 3 areas. Member programs, that is, have members who are able to understand. And we go back to what I call the 1905 model of Rotary, networking. Secondly, we want to think of how can we enjoy or bring more fun back to our Rotary Club meetings and our events. And thirdly, how can we impact our communities? What is the impact of your community, your club on your community? What do they think about when they hear about you? Our second area of focus is going to be to create a multi-year club growth plan. A single focus year will not work. We need a multi-year approach to how we do this, just as we look at it across our governor strings of looking at a 3-year plan. As Chris and Debbie and Van have looked at this, we need to do the same thing with our club level. So we need to think about that. We first determine, where are we? How can we do this? We can utilize the Rotary Club Health Check, and several clubs have developed an exceptional club survey that we'll be able to share with you this next year. So finding out and ask the question, where is our club now? That's critical. The second area will be to look at our demographics, look at our club's strengths and weaknesses. How do we involve our active or inactive members, and or what are the demographics in our community that will tell us where can we improve and what can we do as we move forward. Secondly, we want to ask, or thirdly, we want to ask, what's your club known for? When someone in the community says something about your club name, how does it stand out? What is the emphasis that is known by what your club does and how they model what they do in their community? What's your signature project? Our third area that we want to look at as we move forward is how do we establish innovative club opportunities? First, we want to talk about what are those new club models and the strategies that we need to involve in getting that to happen in our district and in our club area. Secondly, we want to adopt those new membership types because they're very varied, and quite frankly, the RI leadership has given us an open slate of what we can do is completely available to anything that we think and how we think. And thirdly, we want to look at how do we adopt these, create these new innovative club opportunities, because that again is just from the council on legislation in 2016 and 2019. They've opened the door for us to be very creative in how we think about that, and yet they've given us some guidelines. As we look at those guidelines, we want to move forward in a way that will be positive for us to have the opportunity to be very creative, very innovative, to look at our diversity and equity and how we can improve those areas in our club, and how will our club model and look like our community and those that we serve. Right now, we're going to have Lisa Haslett share with you how we can implement what we call, and what she's given us as a battle cry for 2020-21, engage, retain, and attract. Lisa.
Thank you. Karen, can you go to my first slide, please? Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I am waiting for the power to go out at my house. I can see the trees in my backyard that are being covered with ice as we speak. I would also like to say welcome to everyone from the first Triple Crown Club in District 7690. And I guarantee that if you try to make Patrick Eakes take our banner down, there will be a fight. I'm just telling you now, Chris. So I'm excited to be part of Charles's membership team again this year, even though Spillman is also on it. But we had a very successful year last year in Crescent Rotary Club, using a lot of the strategies that Chris is talking about for the district this year, but then also using these sort of 5 focus areas that I'm going to talk with you today. Karen Pollard was our membership chair last year, and her co-chair was Sean Straub. And the reason that I point that out, much to Chris's point of we don't want committees of one, keep in mind that all of your members have different strengths. And so you want to play to their strengths. I asked Karen Pollard to be our membership chair because of her energy and her enthusiasm around Rotary, because I knew that Karen was not afraid to invite people to Rotary. However, and Karen knows that I'm going to say this because I say it all the time, when it comes to tracking and filling out spreadsheets, Karen doesn't like to do that. So I found someone else who did, and that was Sean Straub. Sean has a background in HR. So while Karen was our face of membership, Sean Straub was behind the scenes tracking everything on spreadsheets and entering information in DACDB and the CRM. And so the two of them together allowed us to really focus on membership, push membership, and more importantly, push our new members through the system from red badge to blue badge so that we could engage our members right away. And so that brings me to point number 1, which is engage club membership chairs. Too often, and Mark Brandon's on this call, Jeff Jordan's on this call, Ron Pierce is on this call, all of us were sort of presidents together. Our AGs are only communicating with the presidents of our clubs, and we're using the presidents as a conduit for all the information. Now, if you have a Mark or a Jeff or a Ron as your president, then that's probably not a bad strategy. However, if you have a president that isn't a good conduit, then a lot of times the information does not trickle down to the club levels. So as AGs, I encourage you to not only establish a relationship and an open line of communication with your presidents, but also reach out to your membership chairs. Make sure that your membership chairs understand what their focus should be and what some best practices are to put into place to grow membership for the club. Next slide, please. And so to that point, you want to incentivize your club leadership to engage with you. You want to, so one of the things that we did in our club, we had a weekly trivia question, and anybody who answered the trivia question had an opportunity to win a scratch-off lottery card. Ron Pierce incentivized his members by using gift cards. Guilford Club could probably incentivize members with some blackmail photos of John Spillman. I don't know what's out there. But I encourage you to incentivize club leadership to engage with you. Number 3, next slide, please. Pick up the phone. The 2 phrases that get on my nerve the most, especially this year, are when we can meet again. We don't know when that's going to be. So we kind of need to just get rid of that phrase from our vocabulary. And the second statement that drives me crazy is, I sent an email. If you sent an email and you didn't get a response, pick up the phone. Call your presidents, call your membership chairs. As area governors, it's your responsibility to open that line of communication. It's your responsibility to let your club presidents and your club leadership teams know that you are there to support them. The last thing we want is for our club leadership to think that they are operating in a silo, that they don't have the support that they need at the district level. As an AG, while you too are the direct line from the district governor to the club, you're also support staff for your club leadership teams. So think about how can you help your club's leadership teams advance membership in the district. Next slide. Another phrase that drives me crazy. What's your membership strategy? We're going to have great programs. I don't know any Rotarians that were ever invited to join Rotary by a program. Members invite people to join Rotary. Members recruit members. Are good programs important? Absolutely. If you don't have a good program, you probably don't have anything that your members are going to be willing to invite anyone to. So are good programs important? Absolutely. But if our members are not inviting other people to join Rotary, they will never join. You must have a call to action. Think of membership as sales. If we don't tell people what to do, they don't know. If someone comes to you and says, how do I join Rotary? That means we didn't do our job. They should never have to ask that question. They should either have an application in their hand or they should have a link to a website that has a button on it that clearly says, join Rotary. Members recruit members. We have to be asking people to attend. Next slide. Encourage a multi-year club membership growth plan. We put together a flow chart for Crescent Rotary Club last year, and then we adapted our bylaws so that our bylaws reflect that flow chart. That helped a lot with regards to once a new member filled out an application, nobody knew what to do after that to get that new member to their blue badge. So now we have a flow chart that we can literally hand a piece of paper so they can see exactly what the next step in the process is and who is in charge of that step in the process. But we've also written it into the bylaws, so they have to do it. It's law. I know Chris understands what that means. It's not optional. So those 3-year multi-club plans are very important because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to have a year of tremendous growth in your club followed by a year where it's either stagnant or membership drops off. And one of the best ways to ensure that that doesn't happen is by having a multi-year club membership growth plan. In our club, our president-elect Mark Whitty is already working with our president-elect nominee, Karen Pollard. Mark Whitty and I have been working together since July 1st of 2020, preparing him and planning for his year. He has already begun working with Karen Pollard to help her prepare and plan for her year, which doesn't start until 2022. And once we have our president-elect nominee in November, that person will be added to the team as well. And see, there's this layering effect that must occur in order for plans to continue on and in order for club growth to continue on. Most importantly, I would like to remind you that Rotary is supposed to be fun. Sometimes we get bogged down in all of the minutia and we forget that we're supposed to be having a good time. It's why we have the social events. It's why we have the networking events. So I encourage you, when you're working with your club leaders, to remind them that Rotary is supposed to be fun. And one of my favorite lines from a movie, if we're going to stick with this movie theme, is, "You are one adjustment away from the life that you want." I would suggest that you think of your Rotary clubs in the same way. As you are working with the club leadership, as you are looking at their clubs and where they are, think about the fact that most clubs are one adjustment away from the club that they need to be. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Adequate job as always, and we really appreciate you joining us today.
Photos will be going out later via DAC-DB, Spillman.
All right. Well, my name is John Spillman. I'm honored to be a part of the team with Charles, and I wanted to start with this. When I was growing up, my dad owned a record store. And I can remember one of my first musical experiences, an 8-track tape by the Bee Gees and Saturday Night Fever. Next slide, Karen. Now, how many of you had that musical experience, Saturday Night Fever? My first album was Billy Joel, The Stranger. And my first CD, I believe, was Van Halen, 1984. And before my father passed away some 10 years ago, next slide, Karen, he marveled at the fact that you could take all of your favorite artists and all of your favorite songs and put them on a device the size of your hand or put it on your phone. It just was something he could never wrap his head around. Just couldn't believe it. And I mention this because, like how music consumption has changed, I believe Rotary must change as well. And over the next few minutes, I want to cover 3 basic things. Number 1, I want to talk to you about why clubs must change, how clubs can change, and give you some action steps to make that change possible. So let's start with why we must change. 10 years ago, we had 52 clubs and we had 2,834 members. Today, we have 49 clubs and 2,449 members. To break that down a little bit further, our membership across our district has declined 13.5%. Over that same 10-year time frame, we've lost 5 clubs. We've had 16 clubs lose over 20% of their membership, and 28 clubs have lost membership over the past 10 years. And we know if these trends continue, over the next 10 years, we're going to lose many clubs in this process. So how do we change our membership and our clubs? I believe it starts with a mindset shift change. And that mind shift change is we must meet people where they are, not where we would like them to be. Now, how do we do that? I'm going to go through some demographics with you, or some numbers with you. First, let's talk about our district. We're District 7690. We're in the central North Carolina. We are across 15 different counties, and we have 1.9 million people. Now, we have 1.9 million people that reside in our district, yet we have 49 clubs to serve those 1.9 million people. Now, on any given Monday, as an example, we have 5 opportunities across our district to be a part of Rotary. And in 15 of our cities, we only have 1 opportunity a week for people to be a part of Rotary. Literally, 1 time on 1 day in a single week can people join Rotary. So again, we need to meet people where they are, not where we want them to be, if we're going to create this change. Now, in addition, I want to talk to you a little bit about generations. In the past, primarily, our Rotary members have come from 2 groups, traditional and baby boomers. But we must realize, and we realize, that we're going to have to recruit from all groups if we're going to increase our membership in the future. Now, I'm blessed to have in my family, baby boomers, Generation X, and millennials is part of my family. Now, my mom's a baby boomer. And when she's not watching Fox News all day, she's playing bridge or canastus or volunteering. And because she has an exceptional financial advisor, she's got plenty of discretionary money to write checks to her causes. And she also has a lot of time on her hands. Now, my wife and I, we're Generation Xers. We've got a mortgage payment. We're writing tuition checks too, as a matter of fact, to the bad school at University of North Carolina, of course. We're at the peak of our careers, and we're worried about our mothers as well. So we're a generation that is pretty busy, and we don't have a lot of outflow or discretionary money to write a lot of checks. Now, I'm also blessed to have 2 millennials in my family who go to Carolina, and they're at the latter stage of the millennial stage. And there was a recent study done that I can attest to. They asked millennials if they could have a $100,000 job that they didn't like, or a $40,000 job they did like, which would they choose? And 67% of millennials said they would take the $40,000 job. They crave being in situations that they can feel make a difference, and they want to be out part of organizations and want to be in the community doing things they want to do. Another interesting point about millennials, and don't know if you guys have had this experience, but if you're looking for them after 5 o'clock in the office, you're probably not going to find them. They're either on the way home or they're already at home. But again, I think the important thing that I want you to draw from this is the reason that we came to Rotary is not necessarily why these different generations are going to come to Rotary, and these generations are going to come to Rotary right now. Next slide, Karen. So how do we change this? What do we do? I think the first thing we need to do is we need to expand the number of clubs we have in our district. There are a couple ways to do it. We can create more traditional clubs. We can create satellite clubs, or we can create interest-based or cause-based clubs. Now, one of our focuses this year, and actually the focus across our zones for that matter, is to establish more satellite clubs. So why do we like satellite clubs? We like satellite clubs because you only need 8 members to start that club. The other 2 things we really like about satellite clubs, it requires a lot less startup cost and a lot less administrative work to create. Now, there are a multitude of satellite clubs and alternative membership satellite clubs that we've already created in our district. So I want to share with you some success stories. Well, first, let me share with you an example of some cause-based clubs first. So we've got veterans clubs, we've got golf clubs, we've got first responders clubs, we've got Spanish-speaking clubs, social justice clubs, and young professionals clubs. We're seeing a lot of opportunity, not only across our country, but in our district in these different areas. And to illustrate that, what's been working in our area, and this is the next slide, some success stories, is we're creating a golf club in the Greensboro area starting next month. We've created young professionals clubs. We created clubs in retirement communities. And we're seeing a lot of work, particularly in the retirement community world, and we see a lot of opportunity ahead once we get through COVID to go into a retirement community and create clubs. The one that we've done in the Sanford area, or Pittsburgh area, I should say, has former Rotarians all across the country that have chosen to relocate at Pittsburgh, and they wanted to start a Rotary Club, and that's what's happened. And we have multiple opportunities of young professional clubs in Sanford, Greensboro, and many others that are in the process of getting started up. Now, when I was 12 years old, I had the opportunity to spend the summer at my grandparents' house. And one of our rituals every evening after dinner was to go down to Dairy Queen and to get a dipped cone. It's what my grandfather and I would do. So when I started my family, I wanted to create that same tradition. But the problem is, my family's a little weird. My wife likes rum raisin ice cream. My daughter likes coffee Heath bar ice cream. And my son likes mint chocolate chip. Now, they're weird, I know, and they've made some bad choices here. But my point being is, luckily, we have grocery stores, and at our favorite ice cream shops, we have different ice cream choices so they can get their favorite ice cream. And the point I want to make is, if we have different choices for ice cream, shouldn't we have different choices to join our Rotary Club? Should we not just have the one choice that was created back in 1905? Or should we update those choices? And I want to mention 4 choices or alternative membership options that I think are critically important today. Service Choice, Family, Corporate, and Satellite. Now, Service Choice membership started in our club. And what we found is we're a lunch club. And we had many folks that wanted to participate in the 20+ service projects that we had in our community, but they couldn't take an hour and a half to 2 hours out of their day and join our lunch meeting. And they didn't want to pay for lunch that they didn't participate in. So we provided a Service Choice membership option where they would pay 1/3 of the traditional cost of our club and pay as you go for meals. We're seeing family memberships spring up across our district, and that's a discount for family members to join the club. And we're seeing corporate memberships as well. You have a corporation, a big company in a respective area have create a membership, and 2 or 3 of those employees can participate in the club meeting. And what we found is when clubs do their job, these members ultimately become permanent members to the club. And the last thing we're seeing is an alternative membership class. Our district governor-elect can speak to this, and I think Debbie could speak to this as well, is we're seeing young professional alternative membership options or satellite options. Again, we need to meet people where they are, not where we want them to be. So let me end with some action steps for you. First, to you assistant governors, I want to ask you to do two things for me. Number one, we would like each of your service teams, each of your areas to invite us to your president's meeting. So we could share a simple 10-minute presentation. If you had more time, we'll drag along the district governor-elect Chris. He'll add maybe one or two salient points as well. But we would like to attend each of your area member meetings and share with you or share with your presidents the opportunity of different alternative membership options. Number two is we're going to be doing a survey that goes out next week. Chris is going to send out next week, and we need your help. It's a simple survey, but we need to figure out where we are in our respective areas with respect to alternative memberships and satellite clubs. And this survey is going to help us do it. And lastly, I want to reiterate some points that both Lisa and Charles mentioned. And if we want to make a change in our life, whether it's a change with our health, whether it's a change with our fitness or change in our finances, we must start where we're at. We must know where we are as in these respective areas. And the same thing goes with your club. You need to know your strengths and weaknesses. You need to know what's working in your clubs as far as in activity, and you need to know your demographics. So do a club health check. As Lisa mentioned before, and I think Charles as well, we need to have a multi-year strategy. Too many times we see across our district where we have one good year followed by a down year. We call it the yo-yo effect. And having a multi-year plan will allow you to keep the momentum that you've generated in each and every year. And the last thing is, it's very important to look at these alternative membership types and to look at establishing new clubs. So I want to end with where I began, with a musical reference in honor of our theme this year. And it comes from Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. And part of that song says, I want to start with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. There's no message that could be any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. And my question to all you leaders of District 7690 is, what ideas, what adjustments, what change are you going to help our clubs make this year? Because the 1.9 million people across our district are depending on you. And the most vulnerable in our communities are counting on you to help create this change and serve and change lives. Thank you for your time today, and I'm going to pass it back to Charles.
Okay, we're way ahead of schedule, and we appreciate the conciseness of what each of our presenters has done today, but we want to open this, and if you have questions, we'd ask you to actually put that in the chat box so that we can respond to those, and we're monitoring it. And do type them in cap letters so that we can see them easily. But if you have questions, we would like to answer those for you so that as we move forward in this initiative to grow Rotary, again, our focus is going to be pretty simple. Each one, bring one. That is how we need to move forward. That's our RI President's focus. And I think it is the simplified opportunity for us to look at how we can make that difference. And it is, as Lisa has shared in several events that I've been with her, it is up to not a membership committee, but up to each Rotarian to bring one. And there are a lot of factors that go into that, and we've tried to share those with you today. But do you have questions? Raise your hand if you like, and unmute, and then we'll talk and get
so far, Charles, there's none in the chat, so if anybody wants to ask. I will ask Chris, Karen, someone asked a little bit earlier, was all of this going to be anywhere, the slides and stuff, that they can get to it? Also your slides, Chris.
I believe, I don't know if any of you want to share your slides, but for sure the recording of this program will be available online, so you can go back and review it, or anyone in your club who wasn't able to attend that you want to see it will be able to see it. And Chris, I'll let you and everybody else say if you were also going to share your PowerPoints.
Out of the question. No, it's fine. I can definitely share it. And also remember that essentially all the content that that I spoke about is going to be in the district reference manual whenever that's released. But I am happy to shoot the PowerPoint over to Karen so you guys can get it out.
Yes, our membership team will be glad to share everything that we've shared from a PowerPoint position. And if they have a script that I could share with it, that would be helpful too. Do we have any questions?
Well, Chris, I've got one question to get things started. In light of the Florida Gators football performance the last 10 years, should they really be a part of the SEC going forward? It's
Absolutely.
it's the thing that's popping up in chat that I'm on Georgia Bulldog sites. I mean, really, should they be a part of the SEC? Just something's popping up, and I didn't know if you could address it.
Maybe we should restate that. Does anyone have any questions related to Rotary and membership?
Thank you, Lisa, for that clarification. Probably there's a rabbit trail sometimes. You got to watch it. He was adequate today, and we're very grateful for that.
I think I actually got one good thing out of John Spillman today, and that's, one more than usual.
And that's actually one more than I got from yours.
Mary Thomas, did you have a question?
I do, Karen. I am sad to say that we lost a very beloved member today who just sent an email saying that they they were resigning their membership. And their big thing was that with all the meetings being via Zoom, that they had just lost interest and that they were somewhat half-hearted about being involved with Rotary. And this has been someone who has been a very vibrant, contributing member of our club. So it's just pretty disheartening. And this year for Rotary Club of Alamance, we have lost a number of members, primarily due to the fact that the bulk of our meetings are through a Zoom format. And I know you guys are saying, well, we just need to make it more fun, take a member at, and have them ask and bring somebody. And I do think that in normal years, that actually is not a difficult task. But I think, and maybe y'all addressed it when I was struggling to get into the Zoom meeting, but I would really like to hear some very innovative ways to engage people where they're not just feeling like I'm on another Zoom meeting, I'm listening to a speaker. Well, it's kind of interesting. Oh, it's not interesting. But ways to engage them beyond that Zoom weekly routine.
Mary Thomas, did you create a care committee this year?
To my knowledge, no.
So we have similar issues in Crescent. So, we had actually started the care committee last year with our board. And so this year we updated it. But the care committee, we basically took our list of members, and instead of assigning the responsibility to our board members, because our board already has so much to do, we actually put together a care committee, and the care committee reaches out to members on a regular basis. And then the other thing,
Lisa, we do that.
Okay. So then the other thing,
we do that, yes.
And the other thing we did,
and we're calling people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The other thing we did was we started a Thirsty Thursday. And so on Thursday nights from 5 to 7, one of our newest and youngest members, he's 32, he actually hosts Thirsty Thursdays at a tasting room. And so far we have about 4 people show up every week. So it's not gigantic, but the first week it was 4 Rotarians and 2 guests came as well. We sit apart from each other, we wear masks, but it's an opportunity to be in the same room with each other and to talk mask to mask, as opposed to be talking to each other on the other side of a screen. But that was, that was one of the things, or 2 of the things that we've done in our club, because we had the same complaints. I don't feel engaged anymore. I don't like everything's Zoom, everything's behind the screen. But then the other thing that we did in order to not completely lose them, if none of the things that we suggest are appealing to them, we ask them to just consider taking a 6-month leave of absence, because this isn't going to, hopefully the world's not going to be like this forever. And so would they consider just doing a 6-month leave of absence? That way they are still a Rotarian. They're not required to participate, but then in the fall, hopefully when everyone has their immunizations, all we have to do is click from LOA to active in DACDB, and they're a fully active member of Rotary again. So they don't lose their tenure in the club. They don't have to reapply for membership to the club. And so that's one of the things that has worked for us in not completely losing these members who are just Zoomed out.
And
Yeah,
I'll mention 3.
And those are great suggestions, because I will just tell you, every time we lose a member, I take it very personally, because I love these people, and I have a relationship with them, and they're, folks that I've gotten to know over the years, and just, we have had some precious folks who, just because of the season that we're in, just have kind of exited.
I would follow up and just mention 3 things. I think number 1 is, I think it's critically important you have engaging speakers. I'll give you a simple example. I'm a hypochondriac. I mean, I think every leadership will know. And we had the Guilford County health person on 2 weeks ago talking about vaccines, the vaccination schedule. Tommy's got a meeting today, if you didn't see, that the DGs did with North Carolina Health Department about talking about vaccines and distribution. I think that it's got my attention. I'm going to go see that because I want to know when I'm going to get my vaccine. I think number 2, and I'll credit Ron Pierce for this, but you need to have your meetings look like a TV production. They need to be engaging. They need to be fun and exciting. You need to begin with the end in mind, so to speak, and make sure they're engaging meetings. Not just good speakers, but you have engaging content and the flow of the meeting. The third thing that we're doing is we're doing micro projects, or we're doing simple service projects during the meeting. And these are things that you can do at your house, at your home, or at your office. And we're doing service projects as well. But I think it's critically important that your meetings be a production, just not a simple Zoom meeting that is thrown together 5 or 10 minutes before, or not much thought put in it. And the last thing I say is, I think it's critically important that you find ways to do service in these times. Some of our clubs got together here in Greensboro, and we met at a golfing parking lot, and we collected food. There are just a multitude of ways you can think outside the box and do service in a way that doesn't keep people at risk. And I just would think outside the box about different service projects as well.